Chapter 1 of A Birding on a Bronco by Florence A. Merriam. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. A Birding on a Bronco by Florence A. Merriam. Prefatory Note. The notes contained in this book were taken from March to May 1889 and from March to July 1894 at Twin Oaks in Southern California. Twin Oaks is the post office for the scattered ranch houses in a small valley at the foot of one of the Coast Ranges, 34 miles north of San Diego and 12 miles from the Pacific. As no collecting was done, there is doubt about the identity of a few species, and their names are left blank or questioned in the list of birds referred to in the text. In cases where the plumage of the two sexes is practically identical and only slight mention is made of the species, the sexes have sometimes been arbitrarily distinguished in the text. Several of the articles have appeared before, in somewhat different form, in the Auk, the Observer, and Our Animal Friends. All the others are published here for the first time. The illustrations are from drawings of birds and nests by Luis Agassiz Fuertes and from photographs taken in the valley, together with some of eucalyptus trees from Los Angeles, for the use of which I am indebted to the courtesy of Dr. B. E. Furnow, Chief of the Division of Forestry of the United States Department of Agriculture. In the preparation of the book I have been kindly assisted by Miss Isabel Eaton, and have received from my brother, Dr. C. Hart Merriam, untiring criticism and advice. Florence A. Merriam, Locust Grove, New York, July 15, 1896. Chapter 1. Our Valley. "Climb the mountain back of the house and you can see the Pacific," the ranchman told me with a gleam in his eye, and later, when I had done that, from the top of a peak at the foot of the valley he pointed out the distant blue mountains of Mexico. Then he gave me his daughter's saddle horse to use as long as I was his guest, that I might explore the valley and study its birds to the best advantage. Before coming to California, I had only known the birds of New York and Massachusetts, and so was filled with eager enthusiasm at thought of spending the migration and nesting season in a new bird world. I had no gun, but was armed with opera glass and notebook, and had Ridgway's manual to turn to in all my perplexities. Every morning, right after breakfast, my horse was brought to the door, and I set out to make the rounds of the valley. I rode till dinner time, getting acquainted with the migrants as they came from the south, and calling at the more distant nests on the way. After dinner I would take my camp stool and stroll through the oaks at the head of the valley for a quiet study of the nearer nests. Then once more my horse would be brought up for me to take a run before sunset, and at night I would identify my new birds and write up the notes of the day. What more could observer crave? The world was mine. I never spent a happier spring. The freedom and novelty of ranch life and the exhilaration of days spent in the saddle gave added zest to the delights of a new fauna. In my small valley circuit of a mile and a half, I made the acquaintance of about 75 birds, and without resort to the gun was able to name 56 of them. My saddle horse, a white Bronco who went by the musical name of Canello, had been broken by a Mexican whose cruelty had tamed the wild blood in his veins and left him with a fear of all swarthy skins. Now he could be ridden bareback by the little girls, with only a rope noose around his nose, and was warranted to stand still before a flock of birds so long as there was grass to eat. He was to be relied on as a horse of ripe experience and mature judgment in matters of local danger. No power of bit or spur could induce him to set foot upon a piece of boggy land, and to give me confidence one of the ranchman's sons said, "Wherever I've killed a rattlesnake from him he'll shy for years," and went on to cite localities where a sudden violent lurch had nearly sent him over Canello's head. What greater recommendation could I wish? If the old horse had had any wayward impulses left, his Mexican bit would have subdued them. It would be impossible to use such an iron in the mouth of an Eastern horse. They say the Mexicans sometimes break horses' jaws with it. From the middle of the bit a flat bar of iron, 3/4 of an inch wide, extended back 4 inches, lying on the horse's tongue or sticking into the roof of his mouth, according to the use of the curb. There was no other rein. The bit alone weighed 16 ounces. The bridle, which came from Ensenada in Lower California, then the seat of a great gold excitement, was made of braided rawhide. It was all handwork. There was not a buckle about it. The leather quirt at the end of the reins was the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?